So here we are for warm-up. I'm behind my buddy, the 371. I felt like I was around him a lot this weekend. Went out with a completely different setup. I don't take my own advice, guys, alright? There's times I do, and then for some reason I make it to Newcastle, and my own advice goes out the window, which I hate it, because it's the only time that I don't listen to myself. But I was getting a good run to that little left-hander kink, a good run through here to a scoreboard, and the cart was feeling great. But every time I go out, the cart, you know, it just had like a little slight hop that I didn't like. I didn't know if it was the seat. I didn't know if it was the setup. Something was wrong. I was chasing it all weekend. Finally, I figured it out the final day, but that's just a little too late when you're chasing things for no reason at times. I get into the back of the 46, he got into the back straightaway. He looks back, he's like, what the heck? Then he points me through. Thank you to him, and I continue on my way. Cart in this section always felt fast. Like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 section, it felt great. It was just the scoreboard turn and that Monza, man, the cart just had like a slight hop. There's one guy deciding to go off track, you know, clearing the way out, which was really nice of him, clearing some room. And then I'm gonna fall around, I think, the 454 for a little bit. I would sometimes nail the turns, and it came down to mostly driver. Like I know where I was making mistakes. I know, and it was just frustrating because it's just sometimes I nail it and sometimes I don't. Like the 454 goes a little wide, I keep it too wide. Right there we hit, and then the cart immediately starts pulling to the right hard. So I didn't know if I bent something or anything, but it turned out later, flat tire, just a busted valve stem. Probably should have backed out of it. I didn't think he was going to stay in it, but we both stayed in it pretty hard. So every time I turned left now, the cart would just dig into the ground. I was like, holy crap. And it was like a slug. So I would turn left and I'd just dig. It would just bottom everything out. And I'm like, oh my God. The kingpin bolt fall out and my spindle, and then I threw it in there, and then bam, it dug. But I had Eric and some fast guys pushing me, so I turned, I looked, and then just pointed them by, because there was no way I was going to keep them from behind me at all, especially with the issue I was having. I was doing my best to stay, you know, in it, but something was definitely wrong. So I was just going to finish out the lap and then get back over to the pits to figure it out. I didn't know at this time it was a flat tire, but the cart turned right perfect, like I wanted it to go right all the time. But left, yep, it was, wow, man, that thing was weird. So definitely it was definitely one of those things. I ended up getting past on the inside, and then I looked back, Ron Clyde's, I think, pointed in, and next thing I just looped it around by myself. So that was just a good end to the practice. Well, good morning, everybody. Saturday of Grants. It's just been going bad, from bad to worse. Yesterday, nobody took me out. I took myself out, ran it right off the track. Looked like the cart skipped off the track. I thought I got hit, but I was just basically hopping right off the track. So I pulled a David Cole. And the worst part is he's the one that got the footage too. Went out this morning, put a completely different setup in. Cart felt great, but in the first lap, someone chopped my nose and I cut my valve stem. So the second lap, when I got around him, cart was like pulling to the right hard, but I didn't think anything of it until I went to the hard left-hander, and the front end dug to the ground. And then after that, I was like, oh my God, something's really wrong. So had to come off of that. Only did one lap. Don't know what the cart has in it. Really don't know if the gear change did anything. I'm trying to be a little bit more upbeat, but that's the morning. That's how it's gone. On the heat 2. Starting 40th.
Are you sure we're not last?
We maybe last all down. I think there's 47, thank God. So 7 behind me. All we can do is move forward. Hope for the best. Gotta send it. If there's a hole, you just gotta go right through it. That's it. Nothing else about it. Alright, for Heat 2, there's no Mr. Nice Guy anymore. I was getting tired of getting beaten up pretty good. So I was definitely going to send it for Heat 2. I'm starting 40th. It didn't matter. I had my buddy Todd in front of me, so he was going to plow a hole for me. Did not get the best of starts, but that's alright because I know it's going to get stacked up here. I definitely knew I had some fast guys behind me like Chris Carroll. So if I knew if he made a hole, I was going to try to stick with him. But he went by me so fast, it looked like a blur. The 191 and me, we were battling it out. I guess just in the middle, went up in the air a little bit. Followed the 191, gave him a good little push to get forward. And then Chris had passed us by then, I think. And then just got sent a little wide. So, there goes Chris. Just got sent a little wide by the 191. So, I was not in a very good mood to play around with anybody. So, I was definitely driving with my elbows out. I usually don't drive like this anymore because it's kind of, you know how it is. At this point in time, I've been fed up with the driving, so I decided to get my elbows out and drive a little bit harder than I usually do anymore. Like I get into the back of Carlos, making sure that if you guys make a move on the inside, I'm behind you. I'm shoving you through the opening you made. That's just how I run sometimes. And here we're going to go 3 wide because I'm not going to slow down at all. I pushed Carlos through, and then I try to get a good run on the outside, on the inside, but you know I pinched my exit, and then from there on out, we're gonna follow the 191 and Carlos in front of him. See if we can make any moves forward at all. But it was a good run. Definitely, it was going to be a really good run. I was definitely going to try to push everybody forward as much as we could. I was trying to get as many positions as we could before we slung out. The 191 gets a little wide. I shoved my nose in there and then just take the position. He was quick. Definitely got some passes done because people were wrecking up ahead. Then I just followed the 25 for a little bit. So racing was real good. The 191 gets by me again. And we start racing forward. There goes Chris. He gets sent off. So I get behind the 25 and push him as much as I could. In front of us, there was a lot of beating and banging. So you got to keep your eyes up and forward for sure. Because I knew a wreck was coming sooner or later. It was like a bowling ball, but an uncontrollable bowling ball. You see him basically getting all the curbing and all the everything out of it. But overall, it was a really good run. I stayed behind him. 25 was quick as well. At this point, it was like get a good tow, get in the draft, try to catch the group in front of us back down. They were battling out. And you know, in the 206, if you battle out a lot, you start stacking up the group a lot. So people were falling back. There goes my buddy, the 371. And then I just cut across his nose and hit him. That was my fault. That wasn't his fault. I gave him shit about it, but that was all me. Oh, I thought I cleared him and I didn't. And then you see Ron get stacked up. Just a little bit of battling. There you go. Everybody gets stacked back up. Slide right back in behind the 25. It was a really good run with him. So I was like, okay, I can stay with him. I can push him through the field. Really no reason to battle out too much. And then I just hit him on the wrong spot, getting onto the front straightaway. We shot him forward. But I was worried about the 191. He was making some 30 moves and it was close. And he's going to shove it on the inside and climb the curbing and then just take 2 carts with him. So I got 3 positions there thanks to him. It was surely a good run, and then next thing you know, it's just gain traction and start going forward. I end up catching the 55, have a really good run. He makes a slight mistake, I get by him, and from there on out, moved up as many spots as I could, and that was the last pass. But from 40th to 24th, it's the first time that I moved forward. The cart felt really good. I was able to make passes. I was happy with it. I wasn't fighting it. On to heat number 3. Now this one I'm starting 24th. I'm already worried. All right, you know when it's like you did a really good heat race, you know the next heat race you could be in trouble, and my luck was not going that way at all. Again, I give them plenty of space. I know the field's gonna get stacked up on 1, 2, and 3, so there's no point to really go crazy on it. As you can see, the field stacks up, get a good run. I did not want to force the issue. I wasn't going to shove my nose in this section of the track at all. It was more like follow the leader, get through it clean, and then once we get strung out a little bit, we could calm down the racing. But it didn't work out like that. I got into back at 46, which sent Chris a little wide, so I pointed Chris by. The whole point was Chris Carroll was so freaking fast. I want to throw a rope with a hook on the back of his bumper so it can drag me forward. So I know I needed to latch on to his ass. All right, I was going to ride that ass all the way to the front. That's what I was going to do. But it did not turn out that way. He made a slight mistake, went a little bit wide and spun out, and then I took myself out in the process. Getting back on track, the only bad thing about the Dragon Skin is it will burn up, and that's what I did. I burnt the clutch up. But here, I was going to go to school. Chris was really fast all weekend, and I needed to stay close to him for a little bit just so I could see his line so I could learn from it. Clutch was killing me in the scoreboard turn in the Monza. I just cooked the crap out of it, and it was just not going anywhere. Motor was revving up, but that bad boy was not going forward. But I got to study his line. I got to study how his kart was doing, and I learned a lot. Sometimes you gotta become, you have to be humble and learn as much as you can from the person that they're running up front, and they are fast. And I learned a lot from these guys. So just studying just being behind him 2 laps was good enough. Then he ran away from me. I was able to catch up to the 498. Had a good run with him. Stayed with him for a while, and then just stayed as much as I could. It was just some of the sections of the track, it was just killing to get off the corner, and I thought about pulling in, but I was like, nah, I'm gonna keep running. It's good to get the laps in. The kart feels way better. Learn a little bit more, see what the 498 is doing that I'm not doing, where he's able to pull from me. With 2 laps to go, I'm staying in the tire tracks in the toe, so you really don't have to push as hard because the draft pulls you along. But lesson learned here is always keep pushing to the very, very end. I decided to start backing off of it when the white flag come out, and you're going to see that it bites me in the rear pretty good. It might have changed my position for a couple spots, but basically it. And yeah, I kept that double right tight because I would gain people in that section. I wouldn't swing it wide and bring it back across. I just keep that double right tight. You see I gained back up on the 498. It was a really good run. Some areas he was quicker than me, some areas I was quicker than him. Kart felt really good this run. Just sucks that I was involved in that accident, and sucks that I burnt the clutch up. That really sucked. But Joe took care of me with some clutch pads and a drum, and got me back out there for the next day for sure. I appreciate that from him. But right here is where a lesson's learned. I thought there was no way we could catch the pack in front, so with 1 lap to go, I start cruising a little bit, start trying to, baby her home, as you can say it. It could have just been me getting really damn tired as well. Could have been just that. But I should have kept it pushing harder and staying in it harder, because you're going to see up here, anything can happen in the end. These guys in the pack in front of us were fighting out really hard. They were dog fighting, and the 498 stayed on it. So he was able to catch up and get some positions. I don't know what happened going into the Monza with that pack, but they all got into it, man. They all stacked up. People went off track. Some passes, I mean, we were dead last, and I ended up coming across the line 40th. I might have passed like 2 or 3 people. Everybody else was just wrecking left and right. But in the end, I was happy with the progress. I was happy with the race result. I was happy with the kart. I take that back. I was not happy with the race result. I thought I could do a lot better. It's just bad luck, man. This year has been one of those years that I get one good run in and then bam, bad luck. But yeah, I should stay a lot closer to 498. Like I said, I ended up P40th. It was a rough day, but thanks for hanging in, guys. I appreciate everything. Hit that subscribe button, the like button. I'll catch you guys on track. Yeah, how did the day go? The kart's completely apart again. All right, that's how the day went. On you see, freaking David Cole here is just riding me because yesterday I said someone wrecked me because that's what I felt like.
No.
Then he sent me the video.
It was a ghost.
And I wrecked myself in front of the field.
Spun. You didn't wreck yourself. You just spun.
I spun. So I was mad at Heat 2 for no reason. And was bulldozing my way forward. Today, I was making headway forward with Chris Carroll and then spun myself out again. So, this is by far the worst grants.
He's taking after me. He's taking after me. Yep. Round of applause.
By far the worst grants. Well, we'll see what happens tomorrow, right?
Yeah!
What are we going to do?
Go forward.
Send it.
Hashtag be front.
No more red flags.
No more red flags, and please do not hand me a penalty tomorrow. Actually, you can just get them ready because I don't give a shit. I'm just going forward.